Have you ever wondered if the future is written in the stars, or perhaps whispered by those with the gift of foresight? Edgar Cayce's predictions have long been a subject of intrigue, but could he really have foreseen the rise of Donald Trump? How do these ancient predictions resonate with today's political landscape? And what can we learn from these uncanny parallels? Imagine a man who, while in a self-induced sleep, could foresee the future, diagnose illnesses, and even uncover ancient mysteries. Meet Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet. His legacy of thousands of readings has fascinated and mystified people for generations. Now, what if I told you that some of his predictions eerily align with the life and times of one of the most polarizing figures in recent history, Donald Trump? With the 2024 US presidential election just around the corner, Cayce's predictions might just hold the key to understanding what lies ahead for America. Stay tuned as we dive into the enigmatic world of Edgar Cayce and explore the astonishing connections between his visions and Trump's journey. Edgar Cayce, born in 1877, was an American clairvoyant who claimed to channel his higher self while asleep in a trance-like state. His readings covered a wide range of topics, from health and wellness to ancient civilizations and future events. Over the course of his life, Cayce provided thousands of readings, many of which have been documented and studied extensively. Despite skepticism, Cayce's predictions have had a lasting impact on the world of mysticism and beyond. From an early age, Cayce exhibited signs of being different from other children. Unlike his peers, who spent their time playing and engaging in typical childhood activities, Edgar was deeply engrossed in the Bible and ancient texts. His family was devoutly Christian, and young Edgar's passion for the scriptures was nurtured from a young age. This early immersion in spiritual literature laid the foundation for his future as a prophet. Edgar Cayce, known for his astonishing ability to predict the future, has left behind a treasure trove of prophecies. Among these, his insights into a powerful figure rising to prominence in America have captivated many. Some believe this figure is none other than Donald Trump. But what did Cayce actually say? And how do these predictions align with Trump's political journey? As he grew older, Cayce's abilities became more pronounced. He discovered that he could enter a self-induced trance state, during which he would be able to diagnose illnesses and provide remedies. This ability was first demonstrated when he lost his voice due to a severe case of laryngitis. Doctors were unable to help him, so he entered a trance state and prescribed a treatment for himself. Upon waking and following his own advice, he regained his voice. This incident solidified his belief in his abilities and set the stage for his future work as a psychic healer and prophet. Over his lifetime, Cayce provided over 14,000 documented readings, many of which have been scrutinized and studied for their accuracy. One of his most famous predictions was the stock market crash of 1929 and the Great Depression that followed. He foresaw economic turmoil and advised his clients to sell their stocks and invest in safer assets. Those who heeded his advice were able to protect their fortunes, lending credence to Cayce's prophetic abilities. Cayce also predicted the shifting of the Earth's magnetic poles, which modern scientists have since confirmed is a real phenomenon, though on a much longer timescale than Cayce envisioned. His readings often touched on geological and environmental changes, some of which have been corroborated by contemporary scientific understanding. Cayce's readings were conducted in a unique and fascinating manner. He would lie down on a couch, enter a self-induced trance, and then begin to speak. During these sessions, he claimed to access the Akashic Records, a supposed compendium of all knowledge and history of the universe. His voice and demeanor would change, and he would often refer to himself in the third person, suggesting a connection to a higher consciousness. Despite his popularity, Cayce faced considerable skepticism and criticism from the medical community and skeptics. However, his unwavering dedication to helping others and his remarkable success stories garnered him a loyal following. One of the most intriguing and controversial aspects of Edgar Cayce's prophecies revolves around his predictions of a powerful figure emerging on the American political landscape. While many interpretations exist, the name Donald Trump has frequently been linked to these enigmatic forecasts. To examine the potential connections between Cayce's vision and Trump's political ascent, it's essential to delve into the unconventional trajectory of the 45th President of the United States. Trump's journey to the presidency was unconventional. Despite having no prior political experience, he announced his candidacy for the Republican nomination in June 2015. His campaign was marked by its bold rhetoric and promises to make America great again. He quickly became a polarizing figure, attracting both fervent supporters and staunch critics. Throughout the primary season, Trump defied expectations, defeating well-established politicians to secure the Republican nomination. His outsider status and direct communication style resonated with a significant portion of the electorate, particularly those disillusioned with traditional politics. Key moments and decisions during his presidency. Trump's presidency was marked by a series of significant and often controversial decisions. One of his first major actions was to sign an executive order aimed at rolling back regulations, which he argued were stifling economic growth. Throughout his presidency, Trump maintained a strong connection with his base through frequent rallies and an active presence on social media, particularly Twitter. Trump's unconventional rise to the presidency and his impactful tenure have drawn considerable attention and analysis. Interestingly, some enthusiasts of Edgar Cayce's prophecies believe that Trump's journey mirrors certain predictions made by the famed clairvoyant. These interpretations suggest that Cayce, long before Trump's emergence on the political stage, foresaw a leader whose influence would be both transformative and divisive in America. This connection opens a fascinating dialogue between Cayce's historical visions and the contemporary political landscape shaped by Trump. Edgar Cayce made numerous predictions throughout his life, many of which were recorded and preserved by his followers. Among these, certain prophecies have been interpreted to align with the life and career of Donald Trump. While Cayce never mentioned Trump by name, some of his visions are believed by enthusiasts to have an uncanny resemblance to Trump's trajectory. One of the most compelling predictions involves Cayce's visions of a leader who would rise to prominence in America, bringing significant change and upheaval. Cayce spoke of a great man who would come to power and influence the nation in profound ways. Supporters of this theory point to Trump's unexpected rise in the political arena, his business acumen, and his polarizing influence on American politics as fitting the description laid out by Cayce. Another interesting prediction concerns Cayce's visions about the future of America. He foresaw a period of great division and strife within the country, a prediction that some interpret as relating to the political climate during Trump's presidency. The intense polarization and contentious political environment that characterized Trump's time in office seem to echo Cayce's warnings of a nation struggling with internal conflicts. To analyze these predictions, it's essential to understand the broader context of Cayce's prophecies. Cayce often spoke in metaphors and broad terms, which leaves room for interpretation. Supporters of the theory that Cayce predicted Trump's rise argue that Trump's business success, unexpected political ascension, and the resulting societal impact fit the mold of the influential leader Cayce described. Trump's journey from a real estate mogul to the President of the United States was nothing short of extraordinary. His ability to captivate the public and dominate the media landscape mirrors the influence of the great man Cayce spoke of. Furthermore, Trump's tenure as president was marked by significant policy shifts and a departure from traditional political norms, reflecting the great change Cayce predicted. The division within the United States during Trump's presidency also aligns with Cayce's visions of a nation in turmoil. The political landscape was deeply polarized, with fervent support and strong opposition defining much of Trump's time in office. This division could be seen as a manifestation of Cayce's warnings about internal strife and the challenges facing America. So what about the Bible? Talk about these great leaders. Throughout history, the Bible has been a profound source of wisdom and guidance on leadership. In the Gospels of Matthew, Luke, and John, Jesus Christ offers teachings that have shaped the understanding of what it means to be a true leader. These biblical principles provide a moral and ethical framework that contrasts with contemporary views on leadership, highlighting qualities such as humility, service, and righteousness. To fully grasp the significance of Edgar Cayce's predictions about Donald Trump, we need to compare them to biblical prophecies. This comparison can offer deeper insights into the potential implications of these visions and help us understand how they align with ancient texts that have fascinated humanity for millennia. The Bible is rich with prophecies that have been interpreted in various ways over the centuries. Many of these prophecies focus on themes of leadership, upheaval, and divine intervention. When we examine these in the context of Cayce's predictions about Trump, we find some intriguing parallels and thought-provoking contrasts. The Gospel of Matthew presents Jesus as the ultimate example of a servant leader. In Matthew 20:26-28, Jesus teaches his disciples, "It shall not be so among you, but whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave, even as the Son of Man came not to be served but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." This passage emphasizes that true leadership is characterized by humility and a commitment to serving others, rather than seeking power or authority. Matthew also highlights the importance of integrity and righteousness in leadership. In Matthew 5:14-16, Jesus describes his followers as the light of the world and urges them to let their light shine before others, so that their good works may glorify God. This metaphor underscores the responsibility of leaders to set a positive example and lead with moral integrity, inspiring others through their actions. The Gospel of Luke provides additional insights into the nature of biblical leadership. In Luke 22:26-27, Jesus says, "But not so with you. Rather, let the greatest among you become as the youngest, and the leader as one who serves. For who is the greater, one who reclines at table or one who serves? Is it not the one who reclines at table? But I am among you as the one who serves." Here, Jesus reinforces the concept of servant leadership, where greatness is measured by one's willingness to serve others selflessly. Luke also emphasizes the importance of compassion and empathy in leadership. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, Luke 10:25-37, Jesus illustrates the value of caring for those in need, regardless of social or cultural differences. This parable teaches that true leaders are those who show mercy and kindness, extending help and support to all, especially the marginalized and oppressed. The Gospel of John offers a unique perspective on leadership through the example of Jesus' relationship with his disciples. In John 13:12-15, Jesus washes the feet of his disciples, a profound act of humility and service. He then instructs them, saying, "If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example, that you also should do just as I have done to you." This act and the accompanying teaching emphasize that true leadership involves serving others with humility and love. John also highlights the importance of sacrificial love in leadership. In John 15:12-13, Jesus commands his disciples, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends." This passage underscores that true leaders are willing to make personal sacrifices for the well-being of others, embodying the highest form of love and dedication. The teachings of Jesus in the Gospels of Matthew, Luke, and John present a powerful and timeless vision of leadership. Biblical leadership is rooted in humility, service, integrity, compassion, and sacrificial love. These principles offer a stark contrast to the often self-centered and power-driven models of leadership seen in contemporary society. One of the most discussed biblical prophecies is found in the book of Daniel. Daniel 2:21 states, "He changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning." This passage speaks to the idea that leadership and power are divinely ordained. Cayce's prediction of a significant leader rising during a time of upheaval resonates with this concept. Trump's unexpected rise to power and the dramatic changes during his presidency could be seen as part of a divine plan, aligning with the biblical notion that God orchestrates the rise and fall of leaders. Another pertinent prophecy is found in the book of Revelation. Revelation 13:5-7 describes a powerful leader who wields great influence and faces significant opposition. The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies and to exercise its authority for 42 months. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. While the figure described in Revelation is often interpreted in an eschatological context, the imagery of a polarizing leader who speaks boldly and faces fierce resistance has parallels to Trump's tenure. The stark division and intense reactions to Trump's leadership echo the biblical portrayal of a contentious figure. The prophecy of the end times in Matthew 24:6-8 also provides an interesting lens through which to view Cayce's predictions. This passage reads, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains." The themes of conflict, upheaval, and significant change align with the periods of turmoil that both Cayce and biblical prophets foresaw. Trump's presidency, marked by contentious international relations and domestic strife, fits into this broader narrative of a world in flux. Furthermore, the prophecy of the man of sin in 2 Thessalonians 2:3-4 is often cited in discussions of modern leaders. It reads, "Don't let anyone deceive you in any way, for that day will not come until the rebellion occurs, and the man of sin is revealed, the man doomed to destruction. He will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God." While this passage is typically associated with the Antichrist in Christian eschatology, the characteristics of opposition, self-exaltation, and rebellion can be seen in various controversial leaders throughout history. Some interpret Trump's actions and rhetoric as aligning with these traits, though such interpretations are highly subjective and contentious. Cayce's predictions also emphasize a period of spiritual awakening and transformation, a theme echoed in biblical prophecies. In Joel 2:28-29, it is written, "And afterward, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days." This vision of a widespread spiritual revival aligns with Cayce's belief in a higher consciousness and the interconnectedness of humanity. The idea that Trump's era could be a catalyst for such an awakening adds a hopeful dimension to these predictions. Another aspect of biblical prophecy that resonates with Cayce's visions is the role of a leader in bringing about significant societal change. Isaiah 45:1-3 speaks of Cyrus, a historical figure used by God to fulfill divine purposes. "This is what the Lord says to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I take hold of to subdue nations before him, and to strip kings of their armor, to open doors before him so that gates will not be shut. I will go before you and will level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron. I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord, the God of Israel, who summons you by name." Some see Trump in a similar light, as a leader who, despite his flaws and controversies, may be used to achieve a greater purpose. Moreover, the notion of a chosen one, or an anointed leader, is a common theme in both biblical and Cayce's prophecies. The parallels between the biblical figure of King David and modern leaders like Trump are often drawn by those who believe in the divine selection of leaders. David, despite his imperfections, was chosen by God to lead Israel and accomplish significant feats. Similarly, some interpret Trump's unconventional rise and his impact on global politics as part of a divine plan. However, it's crucial to approach these comparisons with caution. Prophecies are inherently open to interpretation, and the context in which they were written differs significantly from today's world. While the parallels can be striking, they can also be subjective and influenced by personal beliefs and biases. The danger of confirmation bias, seeing what we want to see in prophecies, must be acknowledged. As we delve deeper into Edgar Cayce's predictions, it's essential to recognize both his successes and his failures. While many of his predictions were remarkably accurate, some did not come to pass. For instance, Cayce predicted the return of Jesus by the year 2000, a prophecy that has yet to be fulfilled. Despite these discrepancies, Cayce's legacy as a prophet and healer remains influential and inspiring. While some enthusiasts strongly believe in the connection between Cayce's predictions and Trump's life, it's important to consider expert opinions and alternative interpretations. Scholars and historians often approach Cayce's prophecies with a critical eye, noting that many of his predictions are open to interpretation and can be applied to various historical figures and events. Skeptics argue that the perceived connections between Cayce's predictions and Trump's life are coincidental, and that such prophecies are often retrofitted to fit contemporary events. They point out that Cayce's broad and metaphorical language allows for multiple interpretations, making it difficult to draw definitive conclusions about specific individuals like Trump. However, some experts in mysticism and prophecy find the parallels intriguing. They acknowledge that while the connections may be circumstantial, the resonance between Cayce's visions and Trump's rise to power cannot be entirely dismissed. These experts suggest that Cayce's ability to tap into a higher consciousness might have allowed him to foresee significant societal shifts and influential leaders, even if not by name. Drawing parallels between Cayce's visions and Trump's timeline requires a nuanced understanding of both historical and contemporary contexts. Cayce's prediction of a transformative leader in America can be seen as a reflection of Trump's impact on the political landscape. His unconventional approach, coupled with his significant influence, marks a departure from traditional political figures and aligns with the idea of a leader bringing about great change. The division and strife within the nation during Trump's presidency also fit Cayce's warnings about internal conflicts. The intense polarization and societal upheaval echo the turmoil Cayce foresaw, suggesting a period of significant challenges and transitions for the United States. While it's impossible to say with certainty that Cayce predicted Trump specifically, the connections between his prophecies and Trump's life provide a fascinating lens through which to view both the past and present. Whether one views these parallels as coincidence or evidence of Cayce's prophetic abilities, the discussion itself highlights the enduring intrigue surrounding Cayce's work and its relevance to modern times. The intriguing connections between Edgar Cayce's prophecies and Donald Trump's life lie in the striking similarities that have emerged over time. To draw meaningful parallels, we need to dissect both Cayce's predictions and Trump's key life events, examining how these might align in unexpected ways. Cayce's visions often spoke of a period of great upheaval and transformation in America, led by a significant and influential figure. Trump's unexpected rise to the presidency, marked by his distinctive leadership style and polarizing effect, seems to fit this description. Trump's entry into politics was unconventional, breaking the mold of traditional political careers and introducing a new era of populism and media-centric leadership. Cayce predicted a time of intense division within the country, which many interpret as the polarized political climate during Trump's tenure. The heightened partisanship, widespread protests, and social media battles created a charged atmosphere that mirrored Cayce's warnings of internal conflict. Trump's presidency undeniably sparked significant societal debates, aligning with the great change Cayce foresaw. Cayce also spoke of a transformative economic period in America, which can be linked to Trump's economic policies and the resultant impact on the U.S. economy. While opinions vary on the long-term effects of these policies, their immediate impact brought about significant changes, echoing Cayce's vision of economic transformation. Determining whether these connections are mere coincidences or evidence of true foresight is a complex task. On one hand, the broad and metaphorical nature of Cayce's predictions allows for multiple interpretations, making it possible to draw parallels with various historical figures and events. This flexibility can lead to a natural bias in connecting Cayce's visions to contemporary occurrences. On the other hand, the specific nature of some of Cayce's prophecies, particularly those relating to periods of turmoil and the rise of influential leaders, lends credibility to the idea that he may have had glimpses of the future. Trump's impact on the political and social fabric of the United States, combined with the notable societal divisions during his presidency, closely align with Cayce's broader visions of transformative times. Whether one views these connections as coincidental or indicative of Cayce's prophetic abilities often depends on their belief in the mystical and the power of foresight. For those who subscribe to the idea of higher consciousness and the Akashic records, Cayce's predictions may seem like a genuine glimpse into the future. Skeptics, however, may attribute these connections to the natural tendency to find patterns and meaning in historical events. Remember that Donald Trump's relationship with the Christian community has been a significant aspect of his public life and political career. As a presidential candidate, and later as the President of the United States, Trump garnered substantial support from evangelical Christians and other religious groups. This section explores how Trump engaged with the Christian community, the policies and actions that resonated with religious voters, and the impact of his presidency on the Christian landscape in America. From the outset of his presidential campaign in 2015, Donald Trump made a concerted effort to connect with evangelical Christians, recognizing their influence as a powerful voting bloc. He frequently attended religious events, spoke at Christian gatherings, and sought endorsements from prominent religious leaders. Trump's campaign rhetoric often included references to religious freedom, the protection of Christian values, and opposition to policies perceived as undermining religious liberties. One notable event was Trump's speech at Liberty University in January 2016, where he famously quoted the Bible, albeit slightly incorrectly. Despite this misstep, his appearance at the evangelical institution was a strategic move to solidify his appeal among religious voters. Throughout his campaign and presidency, Trump maintained a close relationship with influential evangelical figures such as Jerry Falwell Jr., Franklin Graham, and Paula White, who became his spiritual advisor. Several key policies and actions during Trump's presidency resonated strongly with the Christian community, reinforcing their support for him. One of the most significant was his appointment of conservative judges to the federal judiciary, including 3 Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. These appointments were celebrated by many Christians who hoped to see a judicial shift on issues such as abortion and religious freedom. Trump's administration also took decisive actions to protect religious liberties. He signed an executive order in 2017 aimed at promoting free speech and religious liberty, which included provisions to ensure that religious organizations could participate in political activities without fear of losing their tax-exempt status. Additionally, the administration rolled back mandates requiring employers to provide contraceptive coverage, which had been a point of contention for many religious groups. Another significant move was Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and the relocation of the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem in 2018. Impact on the Christian landscape. Trump's presidency had a profound impact on the Christian landscape in America. His strong stance on issues important to religious voters galvanized significant support from the Christian right, shaping the political discourse and influencing policy decisions. This alignment between Trump and the Christian community highlighted the intersection of politics and religion, demonstrating the power of religious groups in shaping electoral outcomes. However, Trump's relationship with Christians was not without controversy. His personal behavior and rhetoric, often perceived as inconsistent with Christian values, led to debates within the Christian community about the nature of their support for him. Some religious leaders and believers grappled with reconciling their moral and ethical standards with their political preferences, leading to discussions about the role of faith in public life. Despite these controversies, Trump's presidency underscored the enduring influence of the Christian right in American politics. His administration's actions on religious liberty, judicial appointments, and support for Israel cemented his legacy as a president who actively courted and received significant backing from the Christian community. Trump's engagement with the Christian community and his administration's policies had a significant impact on American religious and political landscapes. This intersection of faith and politics not only galvanized support from evangelical Christians, but also opened up intriguing discussions about prophecy and mysticism. Among these discussions are the parallels drawn between Edgar Cayce's predictions and Trump's rise to power, leading to varied reactions from both the public and experts. The reactions to the connections between Cayce's predictions and Trump's life are varied and reflect a wide spectrum of beliefs. Enthusiasts of Cayce's work often view these parallels as further evidence of his extraordinary abilities. They argue that the specificity and relevance of his predictions to modern times demonstrate a remarkable foresight that transcends ordinary human perception. Experts in mysticism and prophecy also find the connections intriguing, though they often approach the subject with a more measured perspective. They acknowledge the similarities, but caution against drawing definitive conclusions without considering the broader context of Cayce's work and the many interpretations it allows. Conversely, Skeptics and critics argue that the perceived connections are coincidental and result from selective interpretation. They point out that many of Cayce's predictions are general enough to apply to a wide range of events and figures, making it easy to retrofit them to contemporary occurrences. This viewpoint suggests that the human tendency to seek patterns and meaning in chaotic events may lead to overemphasizing the connections between Cayce's prophecies and Trump's life. The intersection of Edgar Cayce's predictions and Donald Trump's life has sparked a range of reactions from both the public and experts. Among the general public, opinions vary widely, influenced by personal beliefs about mysticism, prophecy, and the role of influential figures in shaping history. Many followers of Cayce's work see the parallels as a testament to his prophetic abilities. They argue that the detailed and relevant nature of these predictions validates Cayce's gift of foresight. Online forums and social media groups dedicated to Cayce often discuss the uncanny similarities between his visions and Trump's rise to power, sharing articles, videos, and personal interpretations that reinforce their belief in Cayce's accuracy. Conversely, skeptics within the public sphere dismiss these connections as coincidental or the result of selective interpretation. They argue that Cayce's predictions are broad and vague enough to fit various historical events and figures, making it easy to draw connections after the fact. This perspective is often supported by those who are critical of mystical and supernatural claims in general. Experts in the fields of mysticism, history, and psychology offer a more nuanced view. Some scholars of prophecy and mysticism find the connections between Cayce's predictions and Trump's life intriguing, though they approach the subject with caution. They acknowledge that while the parallels are compelling, the broad and metaphorical language used by Cayce allows for multiple interpretations, which can lead to confirmation bias. Historians and political analysts often emphasize the importance of context when examining these predictions. They point out that many historical events and figures could potentially align with Cayce's broad visions, suggesting that the connections to Trump are not unique. This perspective encourages a critical examination of the evidence before drawing definitive conclusions about Cayce's foresight. Psychologists, particularly those who study cognitive biases and the human tendency to find patterns, offer another layer of analysis. They suggest that the connections between Cayce's predictions and Trump's life may be influenced by the desire to find meaning in complex and uncertain times. This phenomenon, known as apophenia, is the tendency to perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things, which can explain why people might see Cayce's visions as prophetic. The perceived connections between Cayce's predictions and Trump's life have influenced public perception in various ways. For some, these parallels reinforce the idea that Trump is a significant and transformative figure, predestined to lead during a time of upheaval. This belief can strengthen the support of those who view Trump as a pivotal leader in American history. For others, the connection to mysticism and prophecy adds an element of intrigue to Trump's persona, making his life and career the subject of fascination beyond traditional political analysis. This perspective often attracts those interested in the supernatural and the possibility of higher consciousness influencing world events. Overall, the reactions to Cayce's predictions in relation to Trump highlight the enduring allure of prophecy and the varied ways in which people interpret and find meaning in historical and contemporary events. Whether viewed as mere coincidences or evidence of true foresight, these connections continue to spark debate and intrigue among both the public and experts. In today's fast-paced and technologically driven world, the allure of mysticism and predictions remains remarkably strong. Despite advances in science and technology, many people continue to seek out spiritual insights and prophecies to make sense of the complexities and uncertainties of modern life. The fascination with figures like Edgar Cayce highlights a deep-seated human desire to understand the future and find meaning in the unknown. Mysticism, which encompasses a range of beliefs and practices aimed at achieving a deeper spiritual connection and understanding, provides a sense of comfort and guidance for many. In contemporary society, mysticism often intersects with popular culture, drawing in individuals from diverse backgrounds who are intrigued by the possibility of higher knowledge and the mysteries of the universe. The enduring interest in figures like Edgar Cayce can be attributed to several factors. First and foremost, Cayce's documented readings and the detailed nature of his predictions provide a rich source of material for exploration and interpretation. The idea that one man could access a higher consciousness and foresee future events is both captivating and thought-provoking. Additionally, the uncertainty and rapid changes characteristic of modern times can leave people feeling unsettled and searching for answers. Prophecies and mystical insights offer a sense of reassurance and a framework for understanding the chaotic world around them. For some, the belief in prophetic abilities provides a way to cope with the unknown and navigate life's challenges. The rise of the internet and social media has also played a significant role in sustaining and spreading interest in mysticism and predictions. Online communities and forums dedicated to exploring Cayce's work and other mystical subjects allow individuals to share experiences, interpretations, and theories. This digital connectivity has made it easier for enthusiasts to find like-minded individuals and build a sense of community around their shared interests. Moreover, the appeal of mysticism is often tied to a broader spiritual awakening and a search for deeper meaning beyond the material world. In an age where information is readily available but genuine understanding can be elusive, mysticism offers an alternative path to knowledge and enlightenment.